Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum, Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, Prasannavadanam Dhyayet, Sarva Vignopashantaye. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Buddhirbalam Yashodhairyam Nirbhayatvam Marogita Ajadyam Vakpatutvam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ तं सूर्यं जगतां नाथं ज्ञानविज्ञानमोक्षदं महापापहरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु ते कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि अस्तु. So today we have to start from page number 13 in the Karaka book, Vibhakti. Okay, so in the previous lessons we studied about Abhihitam, Anabhihitam, when we call prayoga as a kartari prayoga, and when we call it as a karmani prayoga and bhave prayoga. So, and briefly we have also discussed the karakas. Not briefly, we discussed them in completely itself, but there are a few things that can always be added, which we'll be doing it as we go forward. So for the each karaka, we studied like when a word will get this karaka sanya, kartra karaka sanya when it will get, karma karaka sanya when it will get, so on for all the 6 karakas. When does a word get that sanya? We studied. Now we will see the vibhakti and how the vibhakti and the karaka are related. We also have seen dhatvartaha, right? The vyapara and the phalam. So dhatu has vyapara and phalam. So vyaparashrayatvam is called as karta and the phalashrayatvam is called as the karma. And for the sakarmaka dhatus, we have both these in different words. The phalashrayatvam will be in a different word and the vyaparashrayatvam will be in a different word. But whereas for akarmaka dhatus, both will be in the same. So that is the reason why we don't have a karma padam in akarmaka dhatus. So this is what we have covered so far. Now let us look at the vibhakti, the second chapter, page number 13 in the Karaka book. So vibhaktinam pravrittau karakam pradhanyam avahati. कारकसंज्ञां पुरस्कृत्य या विभक्तिः प्रवर्तते सा कारकविभक्तिः इति उच्यते। यथा ग्रामं गच्छति, अत्र द्वितीया कर्मकारकसंज्ञां पुरस्कृत्य प्रवृत्ता, अतः एषा कारकविभक्तिः। सो विभक्तीनां प्रवृत्तौ कारकं प्राधान्यम् आवहति. So vibhaktis can be assigned to a word for various reasons, with various factors. But when karakam is the factor and a vibhakti is assigned to a word based on the karakam that word has, then it is called a karaka vibhakti, and that is the main aspect of a vibhakti. Actually, the karakam is also like some vyakaranas also consider as the vibhakti itself as the karakam also in some cases. But for me, it gives more clarity when we look at them both differently, karakam differently and vibhakti differently. Why? Because vibhakti can also be assigned with other factors as the reason, like upapada vibhakti and all that. So it will be easy for us if we split them both. Okay. So here, so vibhaktinam pravrittau. So in the application of the vibhaktis, the karaka takes the priority. Okay, karaka sanyam puraskritya ya vibhaktihi pravartate sa karaka vibhaktihi iti uchyate. So when a word gets a particular karaka sanya, and based on that, if it is given a particular vibhakti, then that vibhakti is called karaka vibhakti. Like gramam gacchati. Here grama shabda has karma sanya and karmani dvitiya. Based on this sutra, the word which gets the karma sanya gets dvitiya vibhakti. So here, and again, anabhihite, because here the karma sanya or the karma padam is not abhihitam. The gacchati word implies the karta. So karma is anabhihitam. So grama word gets the karma sanya, and then after it gets the karma sanya, karmani dvitiya. Based on that sutra, the grama shabda gets dvitiya vibhakti and gramam gacchati, it will become. So here the dvitiya vibhakti that is given to the grama shabda is called karaka vibhakti. Why? Because of the karaka sanya of the grama shabda, this dvitiya vibhakti is assigned to the grama shabda. That is why it is called karaka vibhakti. यत्र कारकत्वस्य न प्रसक्तिः तत्र परिगणितानां केषाञ्चन पदानाम् अर्थेन योगे अपि विभक्तेः प्रवृत्तौ निमित्तं भवति यथा हरिं विना सुखं नास्ति. So here yatra karakattvasya na prasaktihi. So there is no context of a karaka. Tatra pariganitanam keshanchana padanam arthena yoge api. Yogaha api. So because of the association with certain words, keshanchana padanam arthena yogaha. So, and by how they mean also. That word, how they mean, and with the association with such words. Pariganitanam means there are some words that are enlisted with certain meanings, and with the association of such words, sometimes a certain vibhaktis are assigned. Vibhaktehe pravrittau nimittam bhavati. So, because of such application of such words in certain meaning, certain vibhaktis are assigned. Such vibhaktis are called upapada vibhakti. So, an example here that is given is Harim vina sukham nasti. Atra vina ityasya arthena yuktaha harihi. So the Hari Shabda is associated with the word Vina. Vina ityasya arthena yogateva Hari Shabdat dvitiya pravritta. Here the Hari Shabda got dvitiya vibhakti only because of its association with Vina and for no other reason. It is not the karma karakam. Here Hari Shabda does not have karma karakam. Only because of its association with the word vina, it got dvitiya vibhakti. Ataha esha upapada vibhaktihi iti uchyate. Upapada. Upa is always used in the sense of near. So because of the association with the word vina, closeness means it is used along with the word vina. The Hari Shabda gets Dvitiya Vibhakti, and this Dvitiya Vibhakti is not because Hari Shabda is Karma Karaka. It is not the Karma Padam. It does not have the Karma Sanya. We are on page number 13, Bhagini. So here, Ataha, such Vibhaktis are called Upapada Vibhakti. Prathamayaha pravrittau nimittam pratipadikaarthaha sambodhanascha yatha uchchaihi griham he Rama. So here Prathama Vibhakti is used in the sense of Pratipadikartha. We discussed this in very detailed in the last class. Sambodhanancha. Here only these two are given. In the Pratipadikartha, that sutra that we studied in the last class, we studied all the factors that result in the Prathama Vibhakti, right? But here in this book, only one of them is covered. Only two, the Pratipadikartha and Sambodhanancha. So here in the Pratipadikartha, Uchchaihi Griham. He Rama. So here, so Prathamayaha Pravrittau Nimittam Pratipadikarthaha Sambodhanancha. So for the Nimittam of the Prathama Vibhakti to be used, what are the Nimittam? It is Pratipadikartha and Sambodhanam. So in Uchchaihi Griham, here the Uchchaihi is used in the sense of Pratipadikartha eva. Okay. And He Rama. Here Rama is used in Sambodhana. So it will get, both these words get Prathama Vibhakti because of the Pratipadikartha in the first sentence and Sambodhanam in the second sentence. But like I said, we have seen the other things also which result in Pratipadikartha. Sorry, not only the Pratipadikartha, Linga Matra, Vachana Matra, we studied that sutra. So those are all the factors that result in the Prathama Vibhakti. Here only two of them are mentioned. And then this is a very brief introduction about Vibhaktis. Okay, as we again go with each Vibhakti, every Vibhakti, when it comes, what are the Karaka Nimittani, like when does a word get Karaka Sanya? And because of that, when the Dvitiya Vibhakti or Tritiya Vibhakti will be given, all those will be mentioned. In the previous lesson, when we studied the Karakas, we only studied the primary Karaka Sanya. When does a word get a Karaka Sanya and what is the major factor for that? But hereafter, we will be studying all the cases where a word can get a Karma Sanya, where a word can get Karana Sanya, like that. What are all the factors that makes a word get Karma Sanya? So all the, in detail we will be studying. But here in this part, the Vibhakti is being introduced very briefly. Again, very briefly. We will again be studying that in detail in the following lessons. So even if you feel that something is not explained in detail, don't worry, we will be handling that again in the next section. Here, just an overview of the Vibhaktis is given. So the overview is Vibhaktis can be used with the Karaka Sanya as a Nimittam or Upapadam as a Nimittam. When the Vibhakti is assigned to a word based on the Karaka Sanya that it has, then it is called a Karaka Vibhakti. And if it is used because of a Upapada, means a word in association with a particular word, and if it gets a particular vibhakti because of that association with a particular word, then it is called Upapada Vibhakti. We have Upapada, all Vibhaktis can be used as Upapada Vibhaktis. The Dvitiya Vibhakti, Tritiya Vibhakti, Chaturthi, Panchami, all can be used as Upapada Vibhaktis. So Swaswami Bhavadi Sambandhopi Vibhakti Pravrittau Nimittam. So Swaswami Bhava. sambandhe. So here Rajnyaha Purushaha. So Swa Swami Bhavadi Sambandha. So here Rajnyaha Purushaha means that person belongs to the king, like he's working for the king or a king's messenger, or however he belongs to the king. Rajnyaha Purushaha. Atra Rajapadat Shashti Shruyate. Sa Shashti Swaswami Bhava Sambandham Puraskritya Pravritta. So Shashti Sambandha can come in various aspects. One is the relations. Like Dasharathasya Putraha. Here there is a relation between the two words, the father and child, or any kind of such relation. And another kind of relation is a Swaswami Bhava. So, master and the worker, or, in such kind of owner and one who is owned by, or the master and servant is, I think, the best way to express it. So that is called Swaswami Bhava Sambandha. In such cases also Shashti is used. In relations also Shashti is used. Any kind of relation, belongingness. Okay, like my book, my house, Mama Griham, Mama Pustakam. There also it is more like Swaswami Sambandha only, because we are talking about the possession of things. It can be with Vastu, or sometimes even like Rajnyaha Purushaha. So in such cases, Shashti is used. Sa Shashti Swaswami Bhava Sambandham Puraskritya Pravritta. Karaka Vibhaktayah Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Saptami cha iti pancha santi. Kridyoge Kartari Karmani cha Pravartamana न तु सम्बन्धं पुरस्कृत्य प्रवर्तमाना षष्ठी अपि कारकविभक्तिः एव. So Krityoge means Krit, Kridantas. In association with Kridantas. Krit Yoge, Kartari Karmani cha Pravartamana Shashti api Karaka Vibhaktihi eva. Like Natu Sambandham Puraskritya. So here the Sambandham is not there, only because of the association with the Kridanta. Like Shlokasya Pathanam. Here in Shlokasya Pathanam, there is no Swaswami Sambandha. There is no possession like Mama Putraha. That kind of relation is also not there. There is no such kind of relation, but still Shashti is used because of the Krit, the Kridanta, the Pathanam is a Kridanta word. This Kriyapadam is a Kridanta. So because of the association of the Shabda, Shloka with a Kridanta, again Shashti is used. And this is counted as Karaka Vibhakti. Here, this kind of Shashti is considered as a Karaka Vibhakti. So there is a discussion among the scholars about Shashti being considered as a Karaka Vibhakti or not. So in some cases, like here, they consider it as a Karaka Vibhakti only in certain cases, but in other, in perspective of a few other scholars, it is not at all considered as a Karaka Vibhakti. So let us not go into that discussion whether it is a Karaka Vibhakti or not. Just we have to be aware that some consider it as a Karaka Vibhakti in certain contexts and some do not consider it as a Karaka Vibhakti at all. We just have to be aware of the two theories. So Trutiya Vibhaktihi Kartari Karane cha Pravartate iti Visheshaha. We know that Trutiya Vibhakti is used in the sense of Karta and Karanam, right? Upapada Vibhaktayah api taha eva Dvitiya, Trutiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Saptami cha iti. Like I said earlier, Upapada Vibhaktis can be the Vibhaktis which are called as Upapada Vibhaktis include the Dvitiya Vibhakti, Trutiya, Chaturthi, Panchami and Saptami. So Krishnam Abhitaha Gavaha. So these are all the examples. So Krishnam, here Krishnam is in Dvitiya Vibhakti because of the word Abhitaha. Okay, because of its association with the word Abhitaha, it gets Dvitiya Vibhakti. Akshna Kanaha, here Akshna is in Trutiya Vibhakti because of the word Kanaha. Sarvebhyah swasti. Sarvebhyah is in Chaturthi because of the word swasti. Like Namaha also gives Chaturthi. You know that, right? In the Pravesha level, you have studied the Vibhakti rules. It is very, very, very important for you to memorize all those rules. And now we'll know each of those rules will be explained as either Upapada Vibhakti or Karaka Vibhakti. Some of them are considered, come under Karaka Vibhaktis, and some come under the Upapada Vibhaktis. So Krishnat Anyaha Ayam. Here Anyaha Shabda is the one that is the reason for the Krishna Shabda to get Panchami Vibhakti. Krishnat Anyaha Ayam. Matari Sadhuhu Iti. So here the Matari gets Saptami Vibhakti because of the Sadhu Shabda. Okay. So here all these we will again study in detail. These are just an example of the various vibhaktis which are being used as upapada vibhaktis. So here Krishnam abhitaha, you remember in the pravesha level, abhitaha, ubhayataha, whenever these words come, the word associated with it gets dvitiya vibhakti. We studied that under the dvitiya vibhakti rules. Similarly, vina, similarly, vina, abhitaha, ubhayataha, and words which get
Paritaha.
paritaha, yes. And even when he is used as a suffix, as a upasarga of a dhatu, like the vas dhatu or stha dhatu, like adhitishtati or adhivasati. Then also the word which could have been adhikarana will now will now get dvitiya vibhakti. Like Parvati Kailase Tishtati. Kailase Tishtati. Here Tishtati does not have any upasarga. So Kailasa Shabda gets adhikarana and it is in Saptami. But if you add the upasarga adhi to the Tishtati, Parvati Kailasam Adhitishtati. Kailasam. It will get Dvitiya Vibhakti because of the adhi. So here also there are some words because of which the Dvitiya Vibhakti and other Vibhaktis are given. Here Abhitaha is given as an example for Dvitiya Vibhakti. Akshna Kanaha. Tritiya Vibhakti for the Aksha. Shabda is because of the Kanaha word, blind in one eye. Okay. Sarvebhyaha. Sarvebhyaha swasti, that you know. Krishnat anyaha ayam. So anyaha, paraha, purvaha, all these, because of all these words, we use Panchami Vibhakti. Matari sadhuhu iti. So sadhuhu means matari, in mata, in the mother. You have a good feeling, something like that. So here the sadhu shabda is the one that causes the Saptami Vibhakti of the Matru Shabda. कर्म प्रवचनीयः इति काचित् संज्ञा सा संज्ञापि द्वितीयायाः पंचम्याः सप्तम्याः च प्रवृत्तौ निमित्तं भवति. So karma pravachaniyah, this is a sanya. Sanya means a name given. So these are all the technical terminology in vyakarana, which are coined. These terms are coined by Panini Maharshi. So this is a sanya. So when does that sanya happen? That again we will study. There are again several rules or factors which give a word the karma pravachaniya sanya. Based on that, so they are not originally karma. Like the karma karaka is assigned for based on certain aspects, right? Karturipsitamam karma. Like that, we have some factors because of which a word gets the karma sanya. But here there are another factors which also cause a word to get the karma sanya, but they are not like the original karma, like the karma karakam only they will become, but it is not like how the regular karma is. Because of other factors, they get the sanya of karma. They come under this karma pravachaniyah. Okay, they come under that category. And this karma pravachaniya category is again a subcategory of upapada vibhakti. We discussed what upapada vibhakti is, right? So similarly, this karma pravachaniya is a subcategory of the upapada vibhaktis. Like that you can remember for now. We'll study the karma pravachaniya in detail in the later classes. So karma pravachaniyaha iti kachit sanya. सा संज्ञा अपि द्वितीयायाः पञ्चम्याः सप्तम्याः च प्रवृत्तौ निमित्तं भवति यथा वृक्षं प्रति विद्योतते विद्युत् हिमालयात् अधि भुवि रामः इति वस्तुतस्तु उपपदविभक्तौ एव अस्य अन्तर्भावः. So वृक्षं प्रति विद्योतते विद्युत्. So here वृक्षं gets the dvitiya vibhakti because of the karma pravachaniya, because it gets the karma sanya because of this karma pravachaniya concept. Himalayat. So here Himalaya is getting panchami vibhakti. That also is a karma pravachaniya, but this karma pravachaniya need not always get dvitiya vibhakti. Though it is labeled as karma, this karma is different from the karma that we have studied earlier, where that karma always gets dvitiya vibhakti. But a word which gets the karma sanya because of the karma pravachaniya, it can get dvitiya vibhakti, panchami or saptami. Okay? So here Himalayat gets the panchami vibhakti, but it is a karma pravachaniya. Okay? So it gets the karma sanya because of the karma pravachaniya. And because of the word because of it, the association with the word it gets karma sanya, but it gets panchami vibhakti here. Adhi bhuvi ramaha iti. So here bhuvi gets saptami vibhakti because of its association with the word adhi. So because of its association with the word adhi, bhuvi gets the karma pravachaniya, karma sanya, by the rule of karma pravachaniya, but it gets a saptami. So when does a word get dvitiya? When does it get panchami? When does it get saptami? Even though they are all labeled as, even though all of them get the karma sanya through the karma pravachaniya, that we'll study later. That is a very big section in itself. Okay, and it is very irregular. That section is very irregular. There is no proper logic or framing. So that is why it is also difficult to computerize it. Like in the linguistics aspect, computational linguistics aspect also, it is difficult to identify when does the word get this karma sanya as per the karma pravachaniyam. That tends to be a little challenging because of the reason that it does not have a set formula like in other cases. But we'll see that also a little later. So vastutaha upapada vibhaktau eva asya antarbhavaha. So this karma pravachaniya is a part of upapada vibhaktihi. Okay. Paninehe ayam kramaha. Adau अपादानादिकारकसंज्ञां विधत्ते ध्रुवमपाये अपादानम् इत्यादिना सूत्रेण प्रथमाध्याये चतुर्थपादे ततो विभक्तिं विधत्ते कर्मणि द्वितीया इत्यादिना सूत्रेण द्वितीयाध्याये तृतीयपादे. So this is the order given in the Ashtadhyayi. That is what is being explained here. So Adau Apadanadi Karaka Sanyam. So Apadanam and all the other Karaka Sanyas. Okay, start with this Dhruvam Apaye Apadanam. With that sutra, it starts in the Prathamodhyaya Chaturtha Pade. Prathamadhyaya Chaturtha Pade. In the first Adhyaya, in the fourth Pada, all these sutras, the Karaka sutras are given. Anantaram Karmani Dvitiya. Ityadina Sutrena Dvitiyadhyaye Trutiya Pade. So first the Karakas are defined. How does a word get, or when does a word get which Karaka Sanya? When does it get Karma Karaka Sanya, Kartra Karaka Sanya, Apadana Karaka? Of course, it starts with Apadana. We saw in the previous lesson Dhruvam apaye apadanam is the 24th sutra in the 4th pada of the first chapter. Then karmana yamabhipraiti sa sampradanam. That is the 32nd sutra of the same 4th pada of the first adhyaya. So this is the order given in the Panini's Ashtadhyayi. So first the Panchami, the Apadana Karakam is defined, then Sampradana Karakam is defined, then Karana Karakam is defined, 42nd shloka, Sadhakatamam Karanam, Adharo Adhikaranam, 45th shloka, sutra, and then Karturipsitatamam Karma, 49th sutra, and then Swatantraha Karta, 54th. So this is the order given in the 4th pada of the first chapter of Ashtadhyayi. So this is the order of the Karakas, right? That is what is mentioned here. Prathamadhyaye Chaturtha Pade, the Karaka Sutras are given. Then the Vibhaktis. When does which Karaka gets which Vibhakti? Karmani Dvitiya. So a word which gets Karma Karakam gets Dvitiya Vibhakti. Such kind of Vibhakti Sutras are Dvitiyadhyaye Tritiya Pade. They are all given in the Dvitiyadhyaye Tritiya Pade. Tathaiva Upapada Vibhaktim Shashti Vibhaktim cha Vidhatte. There itself, Tatraiva, even the Upapada Vibhaktis and the Shashti Vibhakti. When does a word get Shashti Vibhakti? Sutras related to that are also given there. Prathama Vibhaktim Pratipadikārtha Puraskritya Vidhatte Yam Etam Prathamam Shashti Sheshe iti Sutrat Prak Praha. So Prathama Vibhaktim Pratipadikārtham Puraskritya Vidhatte. So when is the Prathama Vibhakti given? Based on the Pratipadikārtha. And Yam Etam Prathamam Shashti Sheshe iti Sutrat Prak Praha. So this is given before the Sutra Shashti Sheshe. So in all other cases, Shashti Vibhakti, where there is no Karaka Sambandha, where there is no Upapada Sambandha. In such, there are some cases which are not covered by any of the sutras. All those come under Shashti. So that is defined by this sutra, Shashti Sheshe. Okay. There also again some factors are covered, like which, what is the nimitta, which fall under this category of Shashti Sheshe. All those will be given in again the second adhyaya, Dvitiyadhyaye Tritiya Pade. So this is the 50th shloka. So all these from the 24th shloka, not from the 24th shloka, that comes under the Chaturtha Pade of the Prathamadhyaye. These all come under the Tritiya Pade of the Dvitiyadhyaye. Evancha Adau Karakam Nischetavyam. Tataha Vibhaktihi Vidheya. Ityeshah Kramah Karaka Vibhaktau. Iti Gneyam. So first we have to decide what is the Karakam of that word. So you have been given a sentence. In that sentence, you have to identify what is the Karakam of each word. Then the Vibhakti. Okay? Then the Vibhakti should be identified. Similarly, even when you want to write a sentence also, so you put all the words that belong to that sentence, whatever you want to express, and depending on what kind of role that word has in that sentence, you will determine the Karakam of that word, and then based on the Karakam, you will assign the Vibhakti. And while assigning the Vibhakti based on the Karakam, especially for the Karta and the Karma words, you know how to again see. You have to also take into consideration if the Karta is Abhihitam or Anabhihitam. Similarly, whether the Karma is Abhihitam or Anabhihitam. Because based on that, they will either get Prathama or Dvitiya, the Karma Padam. And for the Kartrupadam, it will either get Prathama or Tritiya. So all these factors we have to keep in mind. All these we have been taught in the Parichaya, Pravesha and Parichaya, but as standard rules. Nothing is explained. We were simply taught in Kartari Prayoga, Kartrupadam will get Prathama, Karmapadam will get Dvitiya. And the Kartrupadam Kriyapadam will follow the Kartrupadam. In Karmani Prayoga, the Kartrupadam will get Tritiya, the Karma Padam will get Prathama Vibhakti, and the Kriya Padam will follow the Karma Padam. That is how we were taught. But if you think back, the Kriya Padam follows the Kartrupadam. Why? Because the Kriya Padam is indicating the Kartrupadam. That is why it is following that. The Vachana, Linga, and Purusha will, it will follow the Kartrupadam. So there in the Pravesha level, we were very totally new to this language. So it makes it easy if it is only stated as certain rules and we are asked to memorize. If they teach us all this at that level, we will be totally lost. So we are only introduced to as much as is needed at that point of time. Okay. So तथा च vibhaktehe pravrittau etani nimittani. So when we are using vibhaktis, we have to look at these factors. On page number 14, it is given kArakam. Okay, the kArakam will determine the vibhakti. Padartha yogaha means upapadam, depending on whether it is associated with a particular word or not. Also, the vibhakti will be affected. Pratipadikartha, because the Prathama Vibhakti primarily is assigned to a word based on Pratipadikartha. So that also have an impact on which Vibhakti is used. Swaswami Bhavadi Sambandha. So this here we get the Shashti Vibhakti. Karma Pravachaniyaha. Based on how a word gets the Karma Sanya, if it gets it through the Karma Pravachaniya niyamam, then which vibhakti it gets, that also is determined. Why is the swaswami bhavadi sambandha not given under karakam? Because shashti, the shashti vibhakti is not assigned with any of the karakas, and the swaswami bhavam is also not covered in any of the karakas. That is why it is given separately. So this is about a brief introduction of the vibhaktis. Any questions? So here, what are the things we learned briefly about the vibhaktis is based on the karaka that a word gets, which karaka sanya it gets, the vibhakti that it gets depends on that. That is one factor. The second factor is upapada. When a word is associated with another word, proximity. Ramena saha, Sita vanam gachati. So Ramena saha. Here, because of the saha word, Rama Shabda gets Tritiya Vibhakti. Not because it's used as a Karanakarakam or not because it's a Kartrupadam of a Karmani Prayoga Vakya. Right? Similarly, another thing is Prathama Vibhakti. Prathama Vibhakti also is not because of a Karaka Sambandha. It is because of that sutra that we have, Pratipadikartha, Linga Matra, Vachana Matra. Because of that sutra, the Prathama Vibhakti is assigned. So that is another, that is the rule for the Prathama Vibhakti. Swaswami Bhavadi Sambandha, Shashti Vibhakti, rule for Shashti Vibhakti. It should have, the words should have a Swaswami Bhava Sambandha. Only then the Shashti Vibhakti is assigned. Since the Shashti is not assigned to any of the other Karakas, that is why it is given separately. The Shashti Vibhakti and Prathama Vibhakti are given separately. Why? Because they are not covered under the regular Karakas. And Karma Pravachaniya. Again, that also comes under Upapada, but it is a huge section. So though it is part of Upapada, it is again given separately. And it is studied also separately. In the regular Upapada Vibhaktis, they don't normally list the Karma Pravachaniya. So many times we don't even know that Karma Pravachaniya is part of Upapada. We all think that those are two different things. It is technically a part of Upapada Vibhakti, but because of its vastness of the nimittas that it has, or the factors that it has, or the conditions that it has, it is studied normally very separately. And it is very confusing and there is no particular logic followed like in other cases. So they are all grouped under that. So we'll study that also. So shall we move on to the Prathama Vibhakti? Any questions in this section, in the Vibhakti section? Okay. So the Prathama Vibhakti, actually last time itself we studied, a little bit, but let us again, like in the previous section, but let us again see what is given here. So Prathama Vibhakti. Gauh goshtam agacchati. Chhatrena shlokah pathyate. Pratipadikārtha linga parimāna vachana matre prathama. Okay. So here, this is the sutra that we studied in the last class in detail. Niyatopasthitikaha pratipadikārtaha. Niyatopasthitikaha means nischita artaha pratipadikārtaha. So we discussed what does the pratipadikārtha mean. The actual meaning of that shabda, nischita artaha, is the pratipadikārtaha. Okay, so when the emphasis is on the pratipadikārtha, what that shabda is actually meaning. When the emphasis is on that, then we call it as pratipadikārtha. Matra shabdasya pratyekam yogaha. So here the matra shabda is added with each of these words. Pratipadikārtha matre, linga matre, linga matra vyadhikye, sankhya matre cha prathama syat. So here he simply joined the rest, but pratipadikārtha matre, linga matre, parimana matre, vachana matre. So when the meaning of that word is focusing only on that aspect, then the Prathama Vibhakti is given. Pravritti nimittam vyaktischa pratipadikārtaha. So vyaktischa. Not only the pratipadikārtha, the jati, but the vyakti artha also will lead to pratipadikārtha. Like vriksha. Iti pratipadikasya vrikshatva vishishtah vrikshaha ityartah. Atra vrikshatvam pravritti nimittam vrikshaha vyaktihi. Etadrishe pratipadikārthe prathama syat. So when I say vrikshaha, I am talking about one particular vrikshaha. Say for example, eshaha vrikshaha unnataha asti. I say for example. So here when I say eshaha vrikshaha, I am talking in particular about one tree. So that becomes vyakti. But at the same time, within that vyakti, the jati is always there. The vrikshatvam is there. Right? So vrikshaha unnataha santi or bhavanti, if I say. That is general categorization. Like all trees grow tall or something like that. All trees are tall. That is a generalization. I'm not talking about one particular vriksha. So I'm talking about the jati, the vrikshatvam. Then also the prathama will be given. Even if we are talking about a vyakti in particular belonging to that jati, also the prathama will be given. So the pratipadikārtha is still there, whether it is jati or vyakti. That is what they are trying to explain here. So this we discussed in the last class also, the pratipadikārtha, linga matra, parimana matra, vachana matra. Okay, but here only the pratipadikārtha is emphasized on. And then gauh goshtam agacchati. Gauh goshtam agacchati. So here atra goho, go iti pratipadikasya artaha gotva vishishtah gauh iti. Atra go shabdat prathama. So again what is told here, the pratipadika artha is being emphasized on. Gauh, goshtam agacchati. Here the go shabda is indicating the pratipadikasya artaha. Gotva vishishtah gauh. Here gauh is one vyakti. Means we are talking about one particular cow, but the pratipadikārtha is the one that is being emphasized here. So the Prathama Vibhakti is given. And also because it is abhihitam, agacchati. Here, because of the ti, the karta is abhihitam. So it will not get the tritiya vibhakti by the sutra kartrakaranayoho tritiya. So nothing is being indicated. And because of this pratipadikārtha, it gets the prathama vibhakti. So when it is not abhihitam, when it is abhihitam, when it is not abhihitam, we are clearly defining tritiya vibhakti. When it is abhihitam, which vibhakti to assign is the question. Why are we assigning only prathama vibhakti? Why not some other vibhakti? Why not shashti vibhakti, for example? Because shashti vibhakti is also not clearly defined with any karakam, right? Whereas the other vibhaktis are clearly defined with a particular karakam. These karakams get dvitiya, these karakams get tritiya. Like this, very clearly they are all defined. So why here only prathama? Why not shashti? That question might arise. So this sutra tells when the pratipadikārtha is the one that is being emphasized on, then it gets prathama. So by this sutra, it gets prathama. Okay. Chhatrena shlokaha pathyate. Here pathyate. The te indicates the karma. So karma abhihitam. And karta is not abhihitam. So since karta is not abhihitam, by the kartrakaranayoho tritiya, chhatrena, the chhatra shabda gets tritiya vibhakti and it becomes chhatrena. Shloka shabda, it is abhihitam, it is the karma of this vakya and it is abhihitam. Atra shloka iti pratipadikasya arthaha shlokatva vishishta shlokaha iti. Ataha shloka shabdat prathama. So it is abhihitam. So it does not get dvitiya vibhakti. Dvitiya vibhakti comes only when it is anabhihita. So which vibhakti should be assigned? Again, pratipadikārtha. When shlokaha is said, here only that pratipadikārtha shloka is the only artha that it is emphasizing, right? It is not emphasizing on anything else. So based on this sutra, pratipadikārtha linga parimana vachana matre prathama, based on that sutra, the shloka shabda gets prathama vibhakti. Idamatra avadheyam. Gauh goshtham agacchati. Ityatra gauh karta. Tathapi kartrakaranayoho trutiya. Iti sutrena trutiya na pravartate. Kutah kartari anabhihite eva. Trutiyayaha vidhanat. Natu abhihite. This also we studied earlier. So what is again being summarized here? In the sentence, Gauh goshtham agacchati. The agacchati, because of the agacchati kriya padam, the karta is abhihitam. So that is the reason why go shabda is not getting trutiya vibhakti by the sutra kartrakaranayoho trutiya. It is getting prathama. Okay, by this sutra, the pratipadikārtha sutra. So the trutiya vibhakti will be given only in the case of anabhihite. Only when the kartrapadam is anabhihitam, then the kartrakaranayoho trutiya will be applied, can be applied. Anabhihite. Because that word is also there along with that sutra. Kartrakaranayoho trutiya anabhihite. That anabhihite word is used as anuvritti. That anuvritti concept also we should be a little aware of, basically. So in the Paniniya Sutras, what happens is there will not be any repetition of words. So it is like object-oriented programming. In object-oriented programming, what do? We define some commonly used functions, right? Like some addition, subtractions, or depending on the system that it is. If it is a banking system, there will be some interests, cumulative interests or simple interests or whatever calculations that they need most commonly, that they use most commonly, they write a function for it and put it aside. So whenever they need to calculate the simple interest, they will simply apply the numbers, like for this much of amount for these many years, what is the simple interest? So these two will be passed on as the parameters and the processing will be done and the final result will come. So for every customer, you don't have to write the calculation for the simple interest in those programs, right? Whenever that simple interest needs to be calculated, you call that function. So that is already written. So that same function will be used and reused for all the customers, for all the calculations. Only the parameters will be changing. Similarly, here also, when a particular word is repetitively used in more than 2 sutras or more than 1 sutra, what happens is this anuvritti concept is used. So that word will be automatically taken from the previous sutra. For that also, we have to follow the akanksha paddhati. Okay. Without akanksha paddhati, you cannot take off because there are so many sutras, there are so many words in each of these sutra. Which word will you take from the previous sutra? Why only this word? Right? So that confusion also will be there. So in the previous sutra, there are so many words, but in this sutra, why are we taking only that one word? That question might arise. So which word to take from the previous sutras? We have to again follow the akanksha paddhati. In the current sutra, what is being defined? And in order to implement that, what are the things that are factors that are missing? So based on that akanksha paddhati, and what are the words that are there in the immediately following sutras, behind sutras? So then that should be applied. That also we should have an understanding about how to take the anuvritti. So here anabhihite is the word that is taken as anuvritti in this kartrakaranayoho tritiya. So when does, see, every time the kartrapadam and karanapadam will get tritiya vibhakti? No. For the kartrapadam, only when it is anabhihita, it gets tritiya. So that condition should be also known. And how do we know that? That anabhihite should be taken from the previous sutras. So that is a whole different thing, but only for you to understand that though a sutra does not have all the words, they are implied by this anuvritti concept. So that also we have to be aware of. Okay. So when you look at this kartrakaranayoho tritiya, if you are not aware of the anuvritti concept, then you will forget that within brackets there is this word anabhihite. So we have to remember that. So always when you are studying a sutra, we also have to look up what are the words that are coming as anuvritti. Okay, then the meaning of the sutra will become even more clear to us. Okay, so in ashtadhyayi.com, that anuvritti is also given. Anuvritti is given under every sutra, the padavibhaga of the sutra, and then anuvritti is given. But there also there are few mistakes. So you always try to question whenever there is anuvritti, see if it is fitting in within the sutra meaning. I will show you that example also, where there were by mistakenly they included. So these are all digitized, right? These websites are all programmatically written. So what could have happened is they have these programs written to read from the Ashtadhyayi digitized copy and read into these websites. So somewhere some program they might have not checked something. So the anuvritti in one particular case that I saw followed even to the sutras where it was not needed. So such things also we have to be a little careful. So what I'm saying is don't always try to understand what is given there, so that if we simply blindly follow, then we might also go into that wrong path. It is a computerized system. So the mistake might have been in the programming. That is what I'm trying to say. Not that the scholars who are behind that website, they don't know that, or it's not like that. It is a genuine programming mistake. So such mistakes can happen always at any time, anywhere. So we have to be also careful of such things, especially when we are following when it is done programmatically or in batches, like in how do you say that, wholesome work. Okay, so like how there will be typing mistakes sometimes in the books, similarly there also we can have that, and programmatically it can affect more than one. If it is a typing mistake, it can happen in one sentence or two sentences, but when it goes programmatically, sometimes it can affect more a batch of sentences. So that you have to be watchful of. So always keep checking if that anuvritti word, how is it fitting into the shloka, and if the meaning of the meaning of the sutra will be given, right? So whether it is fitting along with the sutra. So that if we keep checking, we will also have an understanding of how to apply this concept of anuvritti, and we will also be aware of if any such mistakes are there. So this is also actually a major part of learning, identifying if the usage is correct. So in Vyakarana, there is this book, the name of which I'm unable to recollect right now completely. But that gives you the reasons, all the reasons why one should study Vyakarana. Okay, why not just follow some whatever somebody is teaching, but why you yourself should also study Vyakarana instead of simply following a guru or something. Because you don't know, there are so many gurus out there. There are so many levels of gurus also out there. And if you simply follow if just because somebody has used some application in a language somewhere, you cannot blindly follow that. You have to also check the genuinity of that application. For you to decide whether that is a correct application or not, you yourself should have some knowledge of that subject, right? In order to have some knowledge of that subject, this is told in the context of Vyakarana. So you also should study Vyakarana. Only then you will know if a prayoga made by a scholar is correct or not. So how good a scholar that other person is. See, many times we depend on people, on other scholars to understand certain things. Like I always go back to my professors and ask them for things that I do not understand, why a certain thing is given certain way. So, but if the professors that I am consulting, if they themselves are not sure about it, then whatever I'm trying to pass on will also be incorrect. So we have to take the opinion of the scholars, but at the same time, we also should have a little understanding of the subject to assess whether what is told is correct or incorrect. Because here I'm not trying to belittle in anyone, but if all of us are humans and all of us are learning, and Vyakaranam, especially Sanskrita Vyakaranam, is such a huge topic, huge subject, and so many things are there that we don't know. We don't know if everything has been completely, precisely understood by whoever is guiding us. So we have to either check with a scholar that we can trust completely, and at the same time, we also have to be making these parallel checks with other sources. So even ashtadhyayi.com is a very wonderful website. It has, very wonderful things based on which actually why I'm telling you all this is in our university project, they have taken Ashtadhyayi as the basis. So those research students they completely depended on this website. So they have written a paper. So I was, reading that paper to understand a certain concept, and then I came across this, and then I was also referring to ashtadhyayi.com to see the practical aspect of it, and that is when I identified this. So when I discussed this with my professor, we understood that okay, we that particular student, she completely depended on the ashtadhyayi.com. So whatever is given there is true, and it is already digitized. So it will be easy for us to use. But that is how we came across this mistake. So mistakes can be genuinely made. What I'm saying is we have to be watchful so that our understanding will not go the wrong way. If we took that without verifying that anuvritti, we would have thought that, okay, this is the anuvritti of these sutras also. And accordingly, we try to understand. And then it will not match with the examples that we are going through. So there we will be stuck. So such open-mindedness should always be there, not to suspect everyone, but to just make sure that we are proceeding in the right path. That should be our goal. And that applies for whatever we are discussing here also. So always go back and double check with other sources, because we are all here to learn together. So we can, while communicating, I might tell something which is not correct completely, or incorrect or incomplete. So you are all also free to add any information that you might have which is not being covered here. Okay. So having said that, Prathama, so shlokah iti pratipadikasya artah shlokatva vishishta shlokah iti. So Prathama Vibhakti is given like that. So the thing here to remember is that Anuvritti concept. Okay. So that also we have to keep in mind. So here Kartrikaranayoho Trutiya. इति सूत्रेण तृतीया न प्रवर्तते कुतः कर्तरि अनभिहिते एव तृतीयायाः विधानात् न तु अभिहिते यथा गवा गोष्ठं गम्यते इति गौः गोष्ठम् आगच्छति इत्यत्र तु ति प्रत्ययेन आगच्छति कर्तुः अभिहितत्वात् न तृतीया because here the karta is abhihitam तृतीया न भवति किन्तु प्रथमा प्रवर्तते कुतः कर्तुः अभिहितत्वेपि प्रातिपदिकार्थस्य सद्भावात् प्रथमायाः निमित्तं प्रातिपदिकार्थः ननु एवं छात्रेण श्लोकः पठ्यते इत्यत्रापि अत्र श्लोकः कर्म तथापि कर्मणि द्वितीया इति सूत्रेण द्वितीया न प्रवर्तते कुतः कर्मणि अनभिहिते एव द्वितीयायाः विधानात् न तु अभिहिते यथा छात्रः श्लोकं पठति इति छात्रेण श्लोकः पठ्यते इत्यत्र तु ते इति प्रत्ययेन कर्मणः अभिहितत्वात् न द्वितीया किन्तु प्रथमा प्रवर्तते कुतः कर्मणः अभिहितत्वेपि प्रातिपदिकार्थस्य सद्भावात् सो कर्मणः अभिहितत्वे अपि अनभिहिते द्वितीया विभक्तिः भवति अभिहितत्वे so it is abhihitam but then also because of प्रातिपदिकार्थस्य सद्भावात् प्रातिपदिकार्थः हि प्रथमायाः प्रवृत्तौ निमित्तम् so for the prathama vibhakti to be used the pratipadikārtha is the nimittam uchchair griham ityadau avyayadapi anenaiva sutreణ prathama bhavati so uchchaihi here the uchchaihi shabda is also getting the it is an avyayam but it is also getting the prathama vibhakti because of the pratipadikārtha sutra linga parimanam vachanam cha iti त्रीणि padani punah santi tani na iha vyakhyayante so in the sutra we also have linga parimana vachana but those three are not covered here but we have already discussed them in the last class okay so whatever we discussed in the last class that only is again here briefly given because we covered prathama vibhakti in detailed in the last class itself so basically when it is abhihitam whether it is kartripadam or karmapadam it will not get any vibhakti the karmapadam will not get dvitiya vibhakti if it is abhihitam kartripadam will not get tritiya vibhakti when it is abhihitam so what will they get when they are abhihitam anabhihite kartripadam will get tritiya karmapadam will get dvitiya but when they are abhihitam when they are explicitly specified by the kriyapadam then what will they get then this sutra prathama pratipadikārtha linga parimana vachana matre prathama by that sutra they will get prathama vibhakti so that is what is again summarized here and he rama mam pahi sambodhane cha so here see sambodhane cha only that much is given so what happens when sambodhane is there prathama that again we have to take as adhyahritam so iha prathama syat sambodhanam abhimukhi-kritya jnapanam pratipadikārthena saha sambodhane adhike gamyamane api prathama syat iti sutrasya phalitartah So not only with the Pratipadika, along with that Pratipadika, when the Sambodhana is also there, is also added, then also the Prathama Vibhakti happens. He Rama Mam Pahi, Rama iti Pratipadikam. Atra Pratipadikaarthena saha Sambodhanarthaha adhikataya gamyate. So the Sambodhana artha is also added along to the Pratipadika. Tathapi Rama Shabdat Prathama Syat Prakriti Sutrena. And as per this sutra, Sambodhane cha indicates in addition to the Pratipadika, the Sambodhana is also added. Okay. So because of that, the Prathama Vibhakti is again assigned to that word. But of course, the Prathama Vibhakti in Ramaha, say for example, there we have the Visarga. Here we don't have. That is why it is again differentiated as a Sambodhana Prathama Vibhakti. It is Prathama Vibhakti only, but because of the Sambodhana, there is a slight change. Okay. So this is about the Prathama Vibhakti. So when does the Prathama Vibhakti get assigned? You have to remember this sutra. Pratipadika linga parimana vachana matre prathama. And then followed by Sambodhane cha. So when Sambodhana is being done, then also Prathama Vibhakti. And in all these factors, mostly we'll come across this Pratipadika. Okay, in the Pratipadika sense, the Prathama Vibhakti that we come across many times is because of the Pratipadika. Of course, Linga, Parimana, Vachana Matre also we have seen examples in the previous class, but this is most commonly, that we come across, the most common application that we come across. Any questions?
Ram, I got one question, madam.
Yes, Bhagini.
Hello.
Yes, Bhagini.
There are two sentences. Gava Goshtam Gamete, Gauhu Goshtam Agachati. In both, Pratipadikatha is emphasized, no? Both equally.
Where in the Gauh Goshtam Agachati and the
Gava Goshtam Gamete and Gauhu Goshtam Agachati. Both sentences.
In both sentences?
Pratipadikatha is emphasized, no?
So here,
what is the difference? Why two sentences are given?
So here what we have to understand is Gauh Goshtam Agachati. Here in the Agachati, the thi indicates the Kartrupadam. Karta Abhihitam. So it will not get the Trutiya Vibhakti. By the Kartrukaranayoho Trutiya, the Kartrupadam will not get Trutiya Vibhakti. Okay, so right now we have only the Go Shabda here. Because the karta is abhihitam, it does not get the trutiya vibhakti. So which vibhakti should we get? Should we assign here? We cannot use the word just with the pratipadikam. We have to assign some vibhakti. So which vibhakti comes here? Then the pratipadika artha linga parimana vachana matre prathama. That sutra will be applicable because here the go shabda is exhibiting the pratipadika artha. So we will give the Prathama Vibhakti here.
Prathama Vibhakti.
In the next sentence, the Gava Gamyate. So here Gamyate, the Te is because of the Te, Karmapadam is Abhihitam, the Kartrupadam is Anabhihitam, and because it is Anabhihitam, Kartrukaranayoho Trutiya, by that sutra, the Trutiya Vibhakti is assigned. So since already the Trutiya Vibhakti is assigned, we are not thinking the Pratipadika Linga Parimana Vachana Matre Prathama does not apply anymore. This takes priority. The Kartrukaranayoho Trutiya takes priority. Because
this thing, we have to take the nearest word from to the Kriya only, no? Like
nearest word to the Kriya.
Kriya.
How do you?
Totally I'm understanding, but bit by bit I'm not understanding, madam.
So are you asking like the Kartrupadam should be close to the Kriya Padam? Is that what you're asking?
So the whatever the kArakam happens, no, like shlokaha, goshtam, these are all. Suppose if there are two words, shloka or patham. So pataha slokaha means we have to take only slokaha, or that's what. There are if there are two objects karmas are given, we have to take the nearest one, that is nearest one to the kriya.
Okay. So here we don't have karmas. We have only one karma here, no?
Suppose two karmas are given, chatrena pataha slokaha patyate. Then how will
so,
that sentence?
It depends. See, a kriya padam can have, or a sentence can have two karma padams. It can have two karma padams. So, like how we can several kartrupadams also, like Ramaha, Lakshmanaha, Sita cha vanam gachanti. Gachanti. Because here you have three. Ramaha, Lakshmanaha, Sita cha vanam gachanti. So here we have three kartrupadams. That is fine. All three are of equal importance. Equal kartru karakam will be applied to all three of them. Similarly, Mata, Putram, Putrim, cha khadayati. So she fed both the Putra and Putri. So both of them will get equal karma karakam. Karma karakatvam will be there for both of them equally. And it also depends on the dhatu. Some dhatus are dvikarmaka dhatus. So they can have, that dhatu can have two karmas. That also we will be coming in the next section. In the Dvitiya Vibhakti, we will be studying that. So for the dvik, you can have two karma padams. So it does not, the order of the karma padams really does not matter there in that particular case. But then normally, how does it matter is, again, within the dvikarmakas, the one that is most, when two karma padams are there, again the question of which is the mukhya karma and which is the gauna karma comes. So normally we put the mukhya karma next to the kriya padam. The gauna karma can be away from the mukhya karma, away from the kriya padam.
Yeah.
Because and when does it be, when do we call a karma padam as gauna karma? So say for example, Mata Putram Putrim Khadayati. There both karmas are equally important. One is not mukhya and one is not gauna here. Because the same action is being applied on both the karmas. The khadana kriya and the phalam of the kadana, the kadana kriya is the result on both these, putra and putri. So both are equally important. Whereas in other cases, there will be a little difference. Like one will be more prioritized than the other. Like, so Chhatraha Gurum Prashnam Pruchati. Chhatraha Gurum Prashnam Pruchati. So here when he Gurum Prashnam Pruchati. The student is asking the Guru a question. So here the Mukhya Karma will be the question. Why? Because the intention of the Chhatra is to ask and know more about something. Whether he is the Guru or whether he is asking somebody else, here the Guru is there, he is asking the Guru. But the intention of asking is, the final result of asking is for him to understand through that question, he wants to understand more or clear his doubt or something. So the Prashnam will become the Mukhya Karma and Gurum will become the Gauna Karma. And another way of identifying which is the Mukhya Karma and which is the Gauna Karma is, the Gauna Karma sometimes can be put in other Vibhaktis also. If the Karma Padam is not, if Dvitiya Vibhakti rather than Dvitiya Vibhakti, yeah, you can apply another Vibhakti and it will still, the meaning wise, it will still be the same. All that we'll study in the Dvitiya Vibhakti in the next section. Okay. So Karma Padam, here in Prathama Vibhakti part, we are only looking at when does a word get Prathama Vibhakti. Especially when it is Abhihitam. The Kartrupadam, when it is Abhihitam, it gets Prathama. Karmapadam, when it is Abhihitam, by the Kriyapadam, it gets Prathama. By the Sutra, Pratipadikartha, Linga Parimana, Vachanamatre, Prathama. And Sambodhanecha. Based on these two sutras, word gets Prathama Vibhakti. Yes, Bhagini.
May I ask the question?
Yes.
Okay, I have a simple question. For a Prathama Vibhakti, there is only two sutra that we have to consider. The very first one is the sutra number 46. That is a Pratipadartha Linga Parimana Vachana Matre Prathama. And the second sutra that we have to consider looking into it is He Rama Ma Pahi, the 2347. Sambodhanacha. Correct?
Yes.
So now, sometimes Sambodhana is like they say that it is always Rama is a Prathama Vibhakti, but there are certain Halanta Shabda where there is a Sambodhana is different than Prathama Vibhakti. Would that be considered?
That is Prathama only. Because of the ending words, that form will be a little different. We have to see, like each Shabda, we have to look into it. It could be sometimes close to the Pratipadika, or sometimes it will be a little different, but they are all Prathama.
Astu. Okay. Okay. Dhanyavad, Bhagini.
So because again, every Shabda behaves differently with each Vibhakti. So because of that, such a change happen.
Dhanyavad, Bhagini.
Astu, Bhagini. Namrata, Bhagini? You have a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
हाँ नमस्ते ये जो अपना ये है ना अनभिहितावधिकार मूलकः एव प्रयोगः त्रिधा उसमें जो कर्तृभूतात् प्रातिपदिकात् परा ऐसा जो लिखा है यदि तिङ् प्रत्ययेन कृत्य प्रत्ययेन वा कर्ता अभिहितः भवति तदा कर्तृभूतात् प्रातिपादिकात् परा.
Where are you reading from?
Page number 11, madam.
Okay, page number 11. Okay.
यदि तिङ् प्रत्ययेन कृत्य प्रत्ययेन वा कर्ता अभिहितः भवति तदा कर्तृभूतात् प्रातिपादिकात् परा कर्तृकरणयोः तृतीया इति सूत्रेण तृतीया विभक्ति न प्रवर्तते. तो मैडम यहाँ कर्तृभूतात् शब्द का मीनिंग क्या है?
So kartrubhutat pratipadikaat means a word that has the kartrikarakatvam and the pratipadikartha.
Okay, okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Whenever it is abhihitam, then it already gets the kartrikarakam.
Okay.
Okay.
Bharatiyya.
So shall we start the Dvitiya Vibhakti? Okay. So Karaka Dvitiya, Upapada Dvitiya, Cha iti Dvitiya Dvividha. Karma Sanyam Puraskritya, Pravartamana Dvitiya, Karaka Dvitiya. Pariganita Padanam Yoga Matrena. Pariganita Padanam Yoga Matrena, Pravartamana Dvitiya, Upapada Dvitiya. Karma pravachaniya sangyam puraskritya pravartamana dvitiya karma pravachaniya dvitiya esha upapada dvitiyayam eva antarbhavati. So karaka dvitiya, upapada dvitiya we have already discussed. So dvitiya vibhakti can be of two kinds, karaka dvitiya, upapada dvitiya. When do we call a dvitiya vibhakti as a karaka dvitiya? Karma sanyam puraskritya Pravartamana Dvitiya. When a word, because of the Karmakaraka Sanya that it gets, and then which is followed by the Dvitiya Vibhakti. It gets Dvitiya Vibhakti because of the Karma Sanya that it gets. Then it is called, that Dvitiya is called Karaka Dvitiya. And then Upapada Dvitiya Pariganita Padanam means, Pariganita Pada means like a list of words, say for example, by which the association is there, to which we have another word has an association with this list of words, then Dvitiya Vibhakti happens. That Dvitiya is called Upapada Dvitiya. Look at the footnote. Pariganitanam padanam yaha arthaha tena arthena anvitarthasya vachakat pravartamana vibhaktihi upapada vibhaktihi. Okay, so this Pariganitanam means like a list, enumerated list. Okay, by that words, whatever meaning is implied, with that meaning, if a word is used in that sense, and when it gets Dvitiya Vibhakti or whichever Vibhakti, every set of words have a different Vibhakti. They can get different Vibhakti. Some words get Dvitiya Vibhakti when they are associated with this list. Other set of words when they are associated get Tritiya Vibhakti and so on. So tadarthanvitartha vachakat vibhaktihi. Okay, so based on that artha, whatever vibhakti is assigned there, that vibhakti is called Upapada Vibhakti. Margam ubhayataha vrikshaha. So here Margam gets Dvitiya Vibhakti.
Madam, can I break just for 1 minute? I will just ask a simple doubt. In majority of the cases, or 80 to 90% of the cases, if that word has got direct relationship with verb, it is called Karaka Vibhakti. If it has got relation with an avyaya, then it is Upapada Vibhakti. Is it that classification correct? With avyaya, it is Upapada Vibhakti. If it is associated with kriya, then it is Karaka Vibhakti. Generally, most of the cases that logic works. Is it correct or not?
Correct. Because we studied with the Karaka, Kriyayaha Anvayam, right? We studied with the definition itself of the Karaka, that whenever it has Anvayam with the Kriya Padam, then it is called Karakam.
Karaka. When it is only with avyaya, then it is Upapada Vibhakti.
Yes. Okay. So whether all the words are avyayams or not, we have to check, because there are so many.
Okay, that's all. Okay. That is okay. That's all. That's all. My date is over. You can continue.
Yes, Mahodaya. So here Margam Ubhayataha Vrikshaha. Here Margam gets Dvitiya Vibhakti because of its association with Ubhayataha. Ubhayataha ityasya arthena anvitarthaha panthaha. Tadvachakaha margaha. Tasmat Dvitiya. Right? So Ubhayataha. Margam Ubhayataha. By the word Ubhayataha, Anvitarthaha panthaha. So panthaha is the marga, right? So here the association with that word Ubhayataha means, to which Ubhayataha means on both sides of what? Of the marga. So the meaning of the word here, if you see the connection, when we say Ubhayataha, on both sides of what? Of the marga. So the meaning of the Ubhayataha is associated with the meaning of the margaha. So marga will be, that is how you have to see the association. Many times they will be right next to each other, but there can be other words also which are next to that word. So which word to take as the Upapada? To which word is this Upapada? If you have such question, we have to look at the meaning, how the meaning is associated. Here Ubhayataha, both sides of what? Of the marga. So here marga is the word associated with Ubhayataha. So marga gets Dvitiya Vibhakti. Like that we have to see in case of doubt. In simple sentences, it will be obvious.
Miss, which page number, Miss?
17 page number.
17.
I'm reading the footnote.
Okay.
The footnote, that which is given at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
So, like in bigger sentences, or where the meaning of the sentence is not completely clear to us, in such cases, to identify the word which is causing the Upapada Vibhakti, you can identify by checking the meaning, like how the words are associated. By that we can recognize that this word is in Dvitiya Vibhakti. So when you come across a word which is in Dvitiya Vibhakti, so these are all the factors that you need to check. Is it the Karma Padam directly associated with the Kriya? You can check. If it is not matching, then with which word is it associated to identify it is a Upapada Vibhakti. All these checks you have to make only when the meaning of the sentence is not completely clear to us. When the meaning is simple, the sentence is simple, you will easily be able to identify. But the complex, the words are new to us, a little new, we are not sure of the speaker's intention, then this knowledge will help us identifying whether that Vibhakti, Dvitiya Vibhakti is a Karaka Vibhakti or a Upapada Vibhakti. Okay, so here, that is the footnotes. So, Pariganita Padanam Yoga Matrena Pravartamana Dvitiya Upapada Dvitiya. Karma Pravachaniya Sangyam Puraskritya Pravartamana Dvitiya Karma Pravachaniya Dvitiya. Esha Upapada Dvitiyayam Eva Antarbhavati. Like we discussed earlier, Karma Pravachaniya is also a Sanya given to certain words when they meet with certain conditions. And then that Vibhakti also is called Karma Pravachaniya Dvitiya. Not all Karma Pravachaniya Sanya, the words that get that Sanya, not all of them will get Dvitiya Vibhakti. They can get Tritiya, Chaturthi and Panchami also. But the Dvitiya Vibhakti that is that a word gets because of the Karma Pravachaniya Sanya is called Karma Pravachaniya Dvitiya. So Karaka Dvitiya, Upapada Dvitiya, Karma Pravachaniya Dvitiya. Karma Pravachaniyam is also a part of Upapada, but we would like to distinguish between the two, just for clarity. And Karma Pravachaniyam is a big subject in itself. So Karmani Dvitiya. This is the second sutra of the third adhyaya of third pada of the second adhyaya. Anukte Karmani Dvitiya Syat. Okay, Karmani Dvitiya. Anukte Karmani Dvitiya Syat. Anukte means anabhihite. We know that when it is abhihitam, it gets prathama vibhakti. When it is anabhihitam, then the karma karaka padam will get dvitiya vibhakti. Dvitiya vibhakti vidhayakam sutramidam. Karmani dvitiya bhavati iti anena sutrena uchyate. So we can say by this sutra, we can say that a word which is a karma karaka will get dvitiya vibhakti. Kim tarhi karma iti akankshayaam ashtabhihi sutraihi kaishchit vartikaischa karma sanya abhidhiyate. Etaihi sutraihi idam karma iti nirnaye jate prakrita sutrenaiva dvitiya pravartaniya. So, okay. So, karmani dvitiya. We know that a word which is which gets the karma karakam will get dvitiya vibhakti. Fine. But which word will get the karma karakam? So for this, to understand that, we have 8 sutras. Ashtabhihi sutraihi, kaishchit vartikaischa, and based on some vartikas, karma sanya abhidhiyate. Etaihi sutraihi idam karma iti nirnaye jate prakrita sutrenaiva dvitiya pravartaniya. So based on these 8 sutras and that few other vartikas, we will understand which words get the karma sanya. After that, by this Karmani Dvitiya Sutra, we assign the Dvitiya Vibhakti to that word which gets the Karma Karakam. Ataha Karma Sanya Vidhayakani Sutrani Bahuni Karma Sanyam Avalambya Dvitiya Vidhayakam tu Ekameva Sutram. So, there are so many sutras which give a word the Karma Sanya, but there is only one sutra that gives Dvitiya Vibhakti to the words which get the Karma Sanya. Upapada Dvitiya Vidhayakani Sutrani Vartikani cha Anyani Santi. Again, the Upapada Dvitiya is covered under different set of sutras. These 8 sutras only focus on which word gets the Karma Sanya. Okay, these are not the Upapada Vibhakti. These are Kevalam the Karma Karakam, Karma Karaka Sanya. We saw the Karma Karaka Sanya in the previous lesson, the basic. right? The basic karma karaka sanya. Now we will also see the other factors which will give a word the karma sanya. Ataha yena yena sutrena karma sanya vidhiyate tatra tatra karmani dvitiyeti ekenaiva sutrena dvitiya pravartate iti jneyam. Sarvasu karaka vibhaktishu esha eva saranihi adrita paninina iti smaraniyam. So the same procedure is followed with all the karakas. So the sutras that determine the karaka of a word, there are so many of them for each karakam. For dvitiya, for the karma karakam, there are 8 sutras and some vartikas. All these define when does a word get the karma karaka sanya. And then there will be one sutra that defines that the karma, the word with the karma karaka sanya gets dvitiya vibhakti. So no matter how a word gets the karma sanya, based on these 8 sutras, any of these sutras, by any of these sutras, a word can get karma karaka sanya. But once it gets the karma karaka sanya, this karmani dvitiya is the only sutra by which that word gets dvitiya vibhakti. Similarly, for other, there are so many sutras that define when does a word get karana karakam, but there will be only one sutra, kartru karanayoho trutiya. Only with that sutra, the word which gets karana karakam gets trutiya vibhakti. Like this, the same method is used with all the karakams. The sutras that define when a word gets a particular karaka sanya, there are many. But which vibhakti that karaka sanya gets, there will be only one. Okay, so karaka dvitiya. So before moving on here, I would like to stop here actually. Today I would like to wrap it up a little early than usual. So we shall stop here. Any question? Any question? Okay. So we shall stop here. We'll continue again next Tuesday. Shanti Mantram Bhagini? Alivelu Bhagini?
आं भगिनि सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नमस्कार भगिनी धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः शुभरात्रि नमस्कारः
नमस्ते भगिनी धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः शुभरात्रि
नमस्ते भगिनी